Now keep in mind that cards don't need to be difficult or complex or full of skillful techniques in order to be beautiful cards. Some of the most beautiful cards that I've created took just minutes to make and minimal supplies. Hey everyone, it's Justine. Welcome back to week 2 of the 12 Days of Christmas. That was a little sneak preview of today's crafty chat and bonus video in the classroom. In the video description below, don't forget to sign up for the free course for the 12 Days of Christmas that has a bunch of bonus add-ons, including bonuses for this video throughout the month of November. Okay, so we've been dealing with a lot of cards over the last week that have been really easy to create in bulk. And today we're going to be creating one where it's not the easiest to create in bulk because there are quite a few steps to it, but it is definitely one of my favorite things to do, and that is ink blending. So ink blending to me comes pretty easy, and in total I think this card took me about 8 minutes, so it's still a pretty quick card. I decided to try out a new color combination as well, and I started off with some weathered wood. Now this stamp is one of the ones that goes all the way down to the bottom, and the tree line is going to get lower and lower. So I am working with oxide inks because these inks sit on top of each other. A dye ink will work as well, but you got to make sure that those inks, when they're mixed together, make a color that you want to be seen on your card. The nice thing about this stencil itself is that you just line it up with the bottom of your card each time. I do notice my cardstock is about like 1/8 of an inch too wide, and I'm going to have to trim that off after, but that's not a big deal. So adding my second tree line here, I'm going to be using the ink Stormy Sky. Lining up my third stencil here, I'm using Faded Jeans. So I went from grays and then a gray blue, and now I'm going into some more blue tones, and I'm going to get darker as my blend goes on. This is a really versatile set. You could really do this in so many different colors. Even some non-traditional colors like pink would look really nice as well, or you can do really great nature scenes. And you could even add a sky to the background and things like that. I really find this set to be really great because not only do the stencils work together to create kind of like a forest scene, but you could use each stencil individually as well, depending on how much of the bottom part of the stencil you want to have in your card, if that makes sense. So if you want to have like a really high tree line and all of the rest of your card blended, you could use the largest one, but each one gets smaller and smaller on the way down. So it's pretty cool. So the last two colors I'm using here were Prize Ribbon, which is one of the newest colors, and Chipped Sapphire as the darkest color. You could even go into some Black Soot as a black color if you wanted even more contrast. And what is nice as well is the last layer gives you the snow on the trees if you want it. You don't have to add this layer. So I'm going to be adding some white embossing paste. The only thing I would suggest though is making sure that your oxide ink is dry. So just use your heat tool just to give it a little zap. Make sure that it's all dry, because what happens is it'll end up blending into the white embossing paste, and when it dries it will take on a blue tinge. How cool is that background? With or without snow, this is one of those things you could use for any season. Super versatile. So I've gone ahead and I've die cut 2 sentiments here, Merry and Bright, both of them the same one. And the reason why I had to do this was when I put this on my card in just silver, it got lost in the background. And when I tried to add blue, it wasn't dark enough to really make an impact. So I decided to put the 2 together. And by creating a little shadow and offsetting the dyes, it ended up creating a nice pop where you got enough of the background to really enjoy it, but you also could see the sentiment really well. And just to add a little extra something, because I thought it was looking a little bit boring, I guess you could say, I just added some Nuvo drops in white and blue. I'm using Nuvo stone drops. It doesn't matter which type you use. I just had this blue matched really well, and so I took the white as well. So I got a little bit of a gritty stone look, which gives it a little bit of extra something since it's a really big nature scene to begin with. Having the gloss drops would have worked too, but I like the texture that it gave off. Last step was simply just adding it to my card base. So if you're interested in checking out some more Christmas card tutorials, I have some here. There's some of my favorite and my best cards I think I've ever made for Christmas cards, and I hope you go ahead and check those out while you're waiting for Wednesday, which will be the next day that I'll be back for the 12 Days of Christmas. Thanks so much for your support and watching. Don't forget to check out the classroom, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.